Hello and welcome to another episode of the Midday Update. You are watching TTV. Thank you very much for being with us today. And now, let's take a look at today's top headlines. Ministerial Committee visits Search and Rescue Center. Ministry focus on finding solutions to challenges of industrial sector. Omani talents have been honored. UK Prime Minister discusses Afghanistan travel restrictions. China bans private companies from broadcasting news. Protest on Brussels for climate change. Brazil Win and Run comes to an end. Now it's time to talk about the weather forecast. Today it's expected to have mainly clear skies over most of the Sultanate governorates with chance of morning low clouds and fog patches over parts of the Arabian Sea coast. Let's see at the weather, the temperature throughout the Sultanate.
Muscat is expected to be partly cloudy with temperatures between 25 and 34 degrees Celsius. Musandam is expected to be partly cloudy with temperatures between 29 and 35 degrees Celsius. North Al-Batina is expected to be partly cloudy with temperatures between 25 and 33 degrees Celsius. South Al-Batina is expected to be stormy with temperatures between 24 and 33 degrees Celsius. Al-Buraimi is expected to be sunny with temperatures between 26 and 36 degrees Celsius. Al-Dahira is expected to be sunny with temperatures between 24 and 37 degrees Celsius. Al-Dakhliya is expected to be stormy with temperatures between 25 and 37 degrees Celsius. North Al-Sharqiya is expected to be stormy with temperatures between 25 and 38 degrees Celsius. South Al-Sharqiya is expected to be stormy with temperatures between 23 and 31 degrees Celsius. Al-Wusta is expected to be sunny with temperatures between 23 and 38 degrees Celsius. And finally, Dhofar is expected to be partly cloudy with temperatures between 24 and 29 degrees Celsius.
This is the Midday Update. Now it's time for the COVID-19 update. There are no deaths related to COVID-19 registered in the last 24 hours today, which keeps the total number of deaths to 4,102 COVID-19 related deaths in the Sultanate. Additionally, the total number of confirmed cases in the Sultanate jumps to 303,978, and a total of 13 new coronavirus cases has been confirmed in the last 24 hours. 31 has been confirmed recovered, which adds a total of 299,309 recovered cases in the country. The Ministry of Health and Supreme Committee has urged all the citizens and residents in the country to adhere to all precautionary measures. And now, it's time to talk about our local stories. The Ministerial Committee for the Assessment of Damage Caused by Tropical Storm Shaheen today visited the Center of National Search and Rescue Team. A delegation of the Ministerial Committee headed by His Excellency Sultan bin Salim Al Habsi, chairman of the committee, today visited the Operations Center of the National Search and Rescue Team, during which they listened to a detailed explanation of the work mechanism. The committee also visited a number of villages and mountainous areas in Al Habura, during which they met with a number of citizens whose homes and properties were damaged. In a statement to Oman News Agency and Oman TV, the Minister of Transport, Communications and Information Technology said, work will begin next week to address roads affected in Wadi Al-Hawasna, Wadi Bani Omar and other valleys. A 7th crossing will be re-engineered in Wadi Al-Hawasna. His Excellency added that roads and diversions have been opened from Habura to Ibri, and field teams are still working on establishing diversions in some roads until the main roads are completely repaired. Reviewing the challenges facing the industrial sector, finding solutions to fix them, and implementing the best practices for industries in Oman were among the objectives of a workshop held by the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion. The workshop also aimed to exchange experiences and ideas with the relevant authorities in the industrial sector to find the best solutions to concerns faced by the country industries. Another priority of the event was to come up with the right recommendation for the ministries and other relevant organizations to implement that will help the industrial sector grow. The industrial sector is a vital sector and plays a pivotal role in economic development, said Sami Al-Sahib, General Manager of Industry at the Ministry of Commerce. Many depend on it during this and the next stage of economic development, because it is one of the main sectors supporting the country. It is also considered one of the main pillars adopted by Oman in its economic diversification plans. The organization of the workshop comes out of the ministry efforts to develop the industrial sectors so that it can play its role in economic development in line with Oman Vision 2040 and the Industrial Strategy 2040. The Industrial Strategy 2040 aims to diversify the manufacturing activities into technology and knowledge-based activities and develop unique and diversified products, in addition to focusing on industries based on natural resources and industries based on capital. During the planning of the Industrial Strategy 2040, the reality of the industrial sector was diagnosed, the promising opportunities were identified, and the sectors that will provide a strategic direction for the development of the manufacturing sector were identified, said Director of the Department of Industrial Development. The programs on the Industrial Strategy 2040 include creating new knowledge-based industries, entrepreneurship and industrial innovation, developing and modernizing the Omani industry, governance and management of industrial development, and a strategy develops to improve in-country value opportunities. The Ministry of Culture, Sports and Youth on Monday awarded a group of Omani talents in art, namely artist Anwar Hamis Al-Sajjali for the fields of visual art and the poet Hassan Obeid Al-Matrushi for the field of literary arts. The move comes as part of the ministry endeavor to honor Omani talents within the Sultanate and abroad in various intellectual, literary and artistic knowledge fields. It also aims to present them as role models of cultural giving to future generations, encourage the intellectual, literary and artistic movement, and support the innovative outputs to build this nation. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with our international stories. This is the midday update. Now it's time to jump to the international scene. United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Monday spoke with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and discussed Afghanistan travel restrictions and Roadmap 2030. A Downing Street spokesperson said, the leaders also talked about the current situation in Afghanistan. They agreed on the need for a coordinated international approach to engagement with the Taliban, emphasizing the importance of upholding human rights in the country, reported Khaleej Times. The spokesperson added, the Prime Minister and Prime Minister Modi discussed the shared fight against coronavirus and the importance of cautiously opening up international travel. They agreed the UK's recognition of Indian vaccine certification is a welcome development to that end. Johnson underlined the importance of making concrete progress on climate change ahead of the upcoming COP26 summit, noting that India already leads the world in renewable technology and expressed his hope that they will commit to a more ambitious nationally determined contribution and to achieving net zero emissions, reported Khaleej Times. Prime Minister Modi is slated to attend the summit that will be held in Glasgow from October 31st to November 12th. Johnson also talked about the UK-India relationship and welcomed the progress made on the 2030 roadmap since the two leaders met in May. In an attempt to rein in the power of influence, China recently released Market Access Negative List 2021. The list aims to ban non-state capital from the news and media sectors and live broadcast services of activities and events involving politics, economy, military, diplomacy, society, culture, science and technology, health, education, and sports. China's National Development and Reform Commission released the Market Access Negative List 2021 to solicit public opinion as per the reliable sources. It says that non-state capital can invest in establishing and operating new organizations, which include news agencies, newspaper, magazine publishers, radio and TV broadcaster, and web media publishers. The China National Development and Reform Commission also said that the non-public capital cannot introduce a new published by organizations outside China. Moreover, they cannot host forums, summit or awards in journalism and the public opinion space as per the reliable source. This looks like an attempt to reassert domestic discourse and shift as much dependence on state-owned media as possible. News outlets such as Keixin and Guangxia, which are perceived to be private, non-state media are also heavily invested in by state-owned enterprises, so they won't be coming in the non-state capital category. If this draft becomes official regulation, it won't leave space for private capital media. This news was discussed by Weibo users, and the talk of going back to the era of the Cultural Revolution again surfaced in the Chinese social media. The Chinese Communist Party approach towards dealing with society, particularly the business and entertainment industries, is aimed at regulating aspects that it considers detrimental to its larger goals and is likely to have a lasting impact on the Chinese society, just as the Cultural Revolution did in 1960. The streets of Belgium's capital city were awash with thousands of climate activists demanding more stringent against from world leaders. The protest action comes ahead of the 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference in Glasgow later this month. The streets of Brussels were crammed with protesters and dozens of organizations mobilized ahead of the march in hope it will be the largest protest since coronavirus restrictions curb public gatherings. After you've seen all the disasters we have seen this summer, it's really crucial that we move now because everybody knows what the problem is, one of the protesters stated. Another climate activist said there was no backup plan when it comes to Earth's destruction. Climate activists are concerned there will be nothing but more hot air from world leaders attending the upcoming United Nations Climate Change Conference in Glasgow, which begins on October 31st. The summit is scheduled for 12 days, and it's looking for greater commitments to cut global emissions, thereby limiting global warming. The summit also wants greater cooperation from participants and to speed up plans to tackle the climate crisis. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the sports stories. This is the midday update. Now it's time to talk about sports. Brazil had the best opportunities of the encounter and forced Colombia goalkeeper David Ospina to make 3 key saves. The most important was in the 84th minute in a close-range finish by substitute Anthony. Neymar returned to the Seleção after a suspension, but was off pace, missing several passes and running with apparent difficulty. He left the pitch immediately after the final whistle. Brazil coach Tite said in a news conference too much is expected from this star player. He is an exceptional player because he makes exceptional plays. He does it exceptionally and not ordinarily. Brazil coach said he is a special player and we all know that. That's all for today. Thank you very much for being with us today. Stay tuned for more and don't forget to keep watching TTV.
You've just heard the live feed from the TTV studios on TFM 95.4. Let's talk.